I hope you enjoyed last week's episode on communication and the different ways we communicate. If you missed it, please go back and listen to episode 49. Today, I am cordially inviting you to celebrate with me. I made it to my 50th episode. Yay! Can you believe it? 50 episodes, 50 messages of hope and inspiration to help you and I get through this thing called life. 50 weeks that I have had the privilege of sharing with you what is on my mind and my heart. Obviously, I wouldn't be here without the listeners. So I want to thank you, each of you, for tuning in each week to hear what I have to say. Thank you also to every person who came on the podcast for an interview and shared your knowledge, your wisdom, and life application tips with us. I learned so much from speaking with each of you, and you inspired so many of our listeners with your insightful responses. I don't take lightly that you give me your time and your ear, and I do my very best to offer you something worth your time, something worth hearing. Thank you for every question sent in and every post-it comment. I love finding out what you want to know and what you think about the podcast and the episodes. You know, I started a podcast in direct response to all of the vitriol, the culture canceling, and the arguing over different views I saw happening everywhere, in churches, on social media, and just life in general, especially during the presidential elections and the pandemic. I became really concerned that people couldn't seem to agree to disagree and didn't see each other as people anymore. Sameness and agreement were acceptable, while respectful disagreement and differences were being vilified. We were almost objectifying each other, being keyboard bullies and keyboard murderers. Everything was about taking a side, and if you don't agree with me, you're an enemy or you're a hater. We seem to wish for or celebrate other people's downfalls, especially those we disagreed with. I saw so many comments on social media that wished death on people who chose not to, for instance, receive the vaccine. And the most shocking part, for me at least, is people who professed Christianity were part of these conversations, were actively participating in this polarized, cruel, and insensitive behavior. So, initially I kind of sat back, watched what was going on, and shook my head in disbelief. But then I thought, what are you going to do about it? Truth is, I've wanted to do a podcast for years, but I never got past the talking stage. So my husband pushed me this time, last year that is, which I now believe was the right time. And I decided to add my voice to the other voices out there. That is what I decided to do about it. I made a determination to use my voice and to work within my sphere of influence to bring about positive change in the world. There's a quote that you should be the change you want to see. So Try Again with Monique is my attempt to do just that, to effect positive change. This is my thought process. If I help one or even two people through this medium navigate the criticism and the negativity we are often inundated with in a healthy and productive way, then I feel I have done some good for the world in my corner of it. My intention for the podcast is to get people to think about their lives and not resort to autopilot, because I believe the journey is as important, if not more important, than the destination, because the journey is where the school of life happens. It's where you fail, where you succeed, where you have gains and losses. You find out what works. You find out what doesn't work. And you learn how to navigate all of that. And you get all the lessons that come with that. I also believe direction is oftentimes more important than speed. And I want to encourage you, the listeners, to think about where you're going and how you can maximize your potential and how you can find the best pathway for the life you were designed by God to live. My favorite scripture, which I call my life verse, is Proverbs 19:21. And it says, "Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." I'm passionate about purpose. You probably have already figured that out if you've been following the podcast for any length of time. But I'm passionate about purpose, and you'll hear me reference it all the time. I firmly believe that each of us is made by God with intention for a purpose, and that there is greatness inside all of us. And sometimes we need just a little help, little outside help, I should say, getting it out. And I'm here for it. My passion or my mission is to help you find your passion, find your mission, and where you can best serve the world with your unique purpose. Because again, I believe there's not a single person on the planet whose needs wouldn't be met if everybody followed their purpose. I want to help you be great. There's a quote, "Your purpose is not the thing you do. It's the thing that happens in others when you do what you do." Martin Luther King said, "Everybody can be great because everybody can serve." I'm here for no other reason but to serve you, to help you find your customized place in this world where you can have your unique impact, where the people you are supposed to help are, and where the assignment God designed just for you is. You were also kind to let me know through comments when an episode helped you or caused you to think about a particular subject matter. I love your honesty, your transparency, and your willingness to personally reflect on the content of the episode. You've challenged me with the questions you've sent in, ranging in topics from forgiveness to loving people to how to find hope in hopeless situations. I mean, I had to study. I had to dig deep sometimes to answer some of those questions. My very first episode is titled, "Everybody is Not Going to Like You." And what I said in the episode over and over again is everybody is not going to like you, and that is okay. Because I wanted to encourage people to be who they are, to be who God made them, and to not let the opinions of people or experiences hinder that. And that really is the thread throughout all of the episodes. That is the underlying message that I want to give and want you to receive. Okay, I'm going to read some comments, so indulge me for just a minute. I just want you all to hear some of the comments, some of the feedback on a few episodes. So that very first episode, "Everybody is Not Going to Like You." Here's some of the comments. "Love the message. This is so good. Such a relevant message that the world needs to hear. Thanks for sharing. Mastering this concept is so freeing. Learning to appreciate my uniqueness." And then in episode 2, I talked about going where the love is, not going against the grain and trying to be with people who don't like you or aren't sold on you, aren't crazy about you, but to go where the love is. So here are some of the comments from episode 2. Go where the love is. "I'm going where the love is. I wish YouTube was around when I was younger. I could have avoided a lot of hard lessons. Great advice. I agree. We must go where the love is and grow where the love is." I love that comment. Okay. For episode 15, it's entitled "Human Being or Human Doing." And here are a few of the comments from that episode. "This was an interesting perspective because I've never heard the expression "a human doing." I feel affirmed now because I think I value who people are, not simply what they are doing. Thanks for the thought-provoking message this week. What a great question to meditate on. If we are not careful and connected to our heavenly creator, we can definitely find ourselves unintentionally human doing. I will certainly have this in my mind from here on. Great reminder to find that healthy balance between human being and human doing. Many places of employment are driven by performance, and mine is no different. As a manager, though I understand the need for performance-based recognition, I do, however, try to humanize all interactions with my staff to remind them that they are human first. Another great informative topic. Love that. Okay, then episode 17 was titled "Doing It Afraid." And here are a couple comments from that. "I am in my 50s and I have let fear shrink my life. I want to change that before it is too late." Awesome message, and most needed in today's time, when so much of what is going on around us can cause you to be paralyzed with fear. Moses had to walk toward the sea before it was parted, and Daniel and his friends had to get in the fire and lion's den. Fear is often a test of our faith. Episode 33 was titled "Goodness." And here's a comment from that one. It's hard to fight the urge to want to be seen for my good deeds. I like getting my credit. LOL. Okay, last comment I'll read is from episode 39 called Loving Others. Such a great and enlightening subject on love helped me to realize that I must draw closer to and strengthen my love for family, friends that are sometimes more difficult to love. I'm trying to love unconditionally and from the teachings of Jesus Christ. Enjoyed this podcast. Man, I love those comments. I love seeing them. I love hearing your comments. I love getting your feedback as you and I, take this journey of growth and self-discovery together, one episode at a time. You know, I struggled with finding a title for the podcast because the ones I wanted were already taken. So I ended up settling really for Try Again with Monique, but it definitely wasn't my first, second, or even third choice. Ironically, the title really fits my intention for the podcast, so it was meant to be. It's so important to me that after listening to every episode that you have hope for a better tomorrow, that you rethink how you're currently living your life, and that you have the courage to do something different if it's warranted. And if you can't change the outcome or you can't go back and fix something, that you make the best of the pieces of your life that you have left. And that as long as you are breathing, you can turn your situation or life around, that you know that. I'm not necessarily here for the masses. At least that is not my focus. I aim to help one person per episode. You may have heard that expression, each one, reach one. That is how we change the world, one person at a time. So thank you again for taking this journey with me, whether you have been listening from the beginning or have listened to one or a few episodes. I promise you, I will try my best to never come before you or use this platform without helping you think about your life in a healthy and productive way, or without giving you something applicable for your life. This podcast is the Lord's doing, and it's marvelous in my eyes. To God be the glory for the things He has done and the things He will do. It has been an interesting ride so far. I think I'll run on and see what the end is going to be. I certainly hope you'll come along with me for the ride. May the Lord bless and keep you. Bye for now.